Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'll please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Our first item on the agenda this evening, we have a nice, full, busy agenda for the night, is the approval of the consent agenda. Within the consent agenda, you found our long-range facilities plan, which we've talked about and adhered to for quite a while. This is just an official motion placing that again within our records and going on. And then there was some nursing program updates for fees in there to bring us more in line with the actual cost of the program for the upcoming year, and that was just short of $18,100. I think it was $18,094, maybe exactly, or so.
Move we accept this consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion about the consent agenda? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Recusing? Next, moving down to the financials. February bills totaling $1,184,735.95, and the other financial reports which were included in your packet.
Move we accept the financials.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'm sure all questions have been answered prior to the meeting for board members. Does anyone have any discussion prior to the vote?
Call a question.
All those in favor of paying the February bills and the financial reports, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining? Thank you. Next, we need to approve our minutes from our prior meeting, the February 11th
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded without corrections, I'm assuming. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving right along through the agenda. Looking at our agenda for the remainder of the evening, we have public comments, and then we have some spotlight reports and nothing additional to add. And quite a few points under new business.
So moved. A second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda for the remainder of the meeting. And I know that we have one public comment from Dr. Parisi. If you'd like to move up towards the podium, sir. So, while he's coming up that way, I'm going to just talk briefly about the Ed Rising program. The Ed Rising program sent 17 students to competition. Excuse me?
Did we complete a vote on the last motion?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Did
We just
adopt the
didn't all
agenda?
say aye or nay.
Did we? We did not.
We did
Well,
now.
thank you for catching me, sir. I'm sorry. So therefore,
Call
I
a
will go
question.
back and ask for a vote on the agenda for the remainder of the meeting.
Call a
Sorry, Dr.
question.
Parisi. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining? I feared we were going to have to talk about it. So, Dr. Parisi, since I've asked you to come up, I'll recognize you for comment, and then we'll talk about Ed Rising. So, excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your time this evening. I'll be brief. Been a lot of conversation in the community. I've been to 3 different events this week. Yesterday was the Monday Club. I really enjoyed an opportunity to visit with them yesterday and entertain questions and trajectory of Missouri Valley College as it relates to Marshall, Missouri and Saline County. We have a growth strategy that's planned over the next 5 years. And initially, in thinking about opportunities that abound in a time of higher education where 8 of my colleagues out of 16 colleges in the Heart of America Conference have vacancies in their presidencies right now. That's a huge challenge in the higher education schematic. We're planning for growth. Our board and our cabinet and our leadership has set out a 5-year planning mechanism and what it's going to look like year to year. And so what does that require from us, just so everybody understands why we have interest in purchasing the property at 1304 County Road, is because we have additional growth needs year over year. In a time where it takes a long time to build and certainly more expensive to build, property acquisitions have been at the forefront of our thought process and conversations. We're planning on 60 new students for the college. We had a record enrollment this past fall, we had a record enrollment this past spring, and we're already outpacing those metrics by 17% as it relates to the upcoming fall. So the challenge is, last fall, we didn't have a bed to be able to offer anybody. And you can imagine when higher education is in the most tumultuous time that it's ever seen, most are not talking about growth and certainly record level metrics. So part of the expansion is to expand our world-renowned rodeo program. It was very easy for me to come into the Missouri Valley presidency and say, look, Missouri Valley Rodeo is here to stay, and what can I do to help grow and add to what we already have and need? So any property that's adjacent or contiguous or has opportunities for rodeo students to be able to certainly live and thrive in that environment, to say, do I want to help Coach Mason produce additional world champions would be a gross understatement. To say the least. It's a value proposition for the community. For those of you that have been to the Saline County Rodeo, myself, I'm big hat, small cattle, but I love the rodeo and love what it brings to this community and what we do. So that's part of our expansion. We're starting a new agriculture systems management degree in the fall. So land for an agronomy lab with crop science and row science is super important to us, which we don't have right now. We have an ag business program, and that's okay, but we're losing students who really want to study agronomy at a higher level, so that's part of the plan. And ultimately, our goal is to keep Missouri Valley College affordable. What's not good for our business model is we're the least expensive out of that 16 peer group cohort, and we give away more scholarship dollars than any other school in that mix. So we give away the most money, and we're the least expensive. It's not a good business model. My goal is to continue to allow Missouri Valley College to be the most affordable that it can possibly be, certainly for Marshall and for Saline County and the surrounding region. You know, you may or may not know this, Missouri Valley College has a $19 million economic impact on this community annually, and a study over 15 years grossed well over $300 million in economic vitality for this community. I'm certainly proud of that, and proud as the second alumni president in 150 years to be a part of it. Currently, you might want to know this, we have 80 kids attending from this area and over $1 million that we've given in scholarship dollars to youth that serve this area and well, hopefully want to come back and work in this area and grow and raise families in this area. Alongside of that, and certainly on the education front, we've invested in degrees. We started not only our master's in education, but our master's in ed administration, and we've invested in those programs to think about the teacher shortage and how can we help the school district with its teacher needs. And so Superintendent and I have had many conversations around a Grow Your Own Teachers program, and rest assured growth in the teacher prep program is something that's on my mind as well. The challenge for Missouri Valley College is we have over $20 million in unfunded scholarships, where a lot of schools and institutions would have those at least half named scholarships and scholarship support for those scholarships. So not only do we have an opportunity to reward youth and award them in financial aid packages for their achievements, we also got to find a way to fund those scholarships as an end result. And that's our challenge, but we can't do it without the community, certainly without the school district. We have a great partnership currently, and I'm just here to tout that partnership. I love what we're doing. I love the direction that the district is going. We have a lot of needs. The school district has a lot of needs, and my hope that this property acquisition, certainly wouldn't hurt the partnership by any stretch of the imagination, even if we didn't get it. But my goal is to strengthen the partnership. And what does that look like? For the surrounding community and the Marshall community. I ask that you consider Missouri Valley College and come back at us with something that would be fair and just and the most viable opportunity for us to be your neighbor and enter into that relationship to strengthen it at even a higher level. So I thank you all very much for your time this evening. I'm sorry that we're meeting under school board circumstances. I hope to get to know each and every one of you on a personal level, but thank you for your commitment to the community and all you're doing for the school district.
Thank you, Dr. Parisi. It's good to hear good things are coming out of our college, good things are coming in our school districts, so education is doing well in Marshall, so, and various fronts. I will next recognize, are there any other public comments before I move on? Did not believe so. Moving on to the spotlight, and Amy from Eastwood School.
Thank you for having us. I would like to introduce some Eastwood current staff members and past staff members that are here with me tonight. Would like to come up.
Oh, history lesson.
Yes, if I have to stand up here, they have to stand up here, so there you go.
Way to
Okay,
lead.
let's see, I'm Amy Hyman, principal at Eastwood. I'll let you go ahead and start.
I'm Amber Keeker, and I'm the librarian for 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Benton, Eastwood, and Northwest.
I'm Andrea Phillips, I'm the Eastwood secretary.
I'm Heather Sappington, I teach 3rd grade Eastwood. I'm Missy Ann, I teach art the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
My name is Daniel Bright. I used to teach Eastwood. I teach at Beakertown.
I'm Winnie Harvey, and I teach 4th grade at Eastwood.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you all for being here. So, as most of you know, we have started thinking about packing and moving. It has been bittersweet. So we've started going through things, and we've had a great time looking at yearbooks and different memorabilia. And so we just wanted just to kind of spotlight or highlight Eastwood now and then. So we have some letters and memories we're going to read from former students and teachers. And our kids, our current 4th graders have learned the Eastwood Eagle song, so we would like to play that for you.
Eastwood was founded in 1922, the very best grade school that I ever knew. The teachers were all very good, and teachers doing things that they should. Eastwood, Eastwood School, the greatest school on the land. Eastwood, Eastwood School, the greatest school in all the land.
So that was fun for them to learn that. I did not know that song, but a couple other people did. We won't say who, but anyway, so that was fun.
Ballad of Evie Crockett.
Okay, next, we wanted everybody to know that there is a time capsule in the cornerstone of Eastwood in the 1922 block. And thanks to Travis Reed, he had a list of actually what is in that time capsule. So I know this is hard to read, so I'm just going to quickly run down the list for you. So there's one copy of the Eastwood Enterprise from December 1921. Copy of the History of Eastwood Parent-Teacher Association, picture of the Marshall Public School Board, pictures of the old school buildings, one copy of the weekly Saline Citizen, August 1921, one copy of the Democrat News, 1921, that also includes or notes the financial statements from the school district, plans of the school board after Eastwood and Benton were condemned, and notice of a special board election, Masonic lambskin or white leather apron, and a copy of the roster from the Trilingual Lodge number 205. So, anyway, it's in there.
They leave directions for how to open it, Amy.
I'm sorry.
Give us directions for how to open that thing.
Well, I don't know, honestly. I think if you wiggled the brick, you might be able to wipe it out. Yeah. Okay. So several of the stories and memories that we received talked about the hallways and the colored tiles. So if you spent very much time in Eastwood, they're kind of a point of interest or conversation, and it's fun because I can see the kids, hopping back and forth, and, we're always like, okay, be safe, but, it's fun, and even, I think sometimes the adults want to hop and skip down the hallway, so this is just kind of an entry to some of the memories that we are going to read. Yeah, you can sit there.
Echoes in the hallway within these walls where footsteps tread. A chorus of the past softly said, laughter's chime, a whispered plea. Memories dance eternally free.
Okay, I'm going to tell my quick Eastwood story. So I had the honor of teaching in the Eastwood trailer that's no longer there. And what was so cool about it is when I opened my door, it opened right to Amy Hyman's office. So if there's any ever issues in music, I could just pop open the door and say, Mrs. Hyman, and she'd go, yes! And it was great. So Eastwood, so this is what I wrote about Eastwood. Eastwood has always been a close-knit community. I have always loved the camaraderie and shared vision of Eastwood. After working in education for over a decade, I wish every first-year teacher would be able to have the opportunity to learn and grow in an environment like Eastwood.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to read Rindy Maupin's. She said, what Eastwood Elementary School meant to me. I was given the opportunity to work at MPS 32 years ago. I was hired to be a third grade teacher at Eastwood. I was very excited to be part of MPS as this was also where I attended school growing up. I was a third grade teacher at Eastwood Elementary for 12 years before moving into an administrative position with the district. I truly enjoyed my years at Eastwood Elementary. I remember my first year having 29 students in my class. This was a big class for me. I had been a fourth grade teacher at St. Peter's for 5 years and only had 14 students there my last year. I do recall it was a big transition for me, but one of the best moves I ever made in my educational career. I enjoyed being able to work with so many students and still see many of them in the community and in the district today. I also worked with many great teachers and administrators over the years. I made many friends while working at Eastwood that I stay in touch with today. Many students and teachers have definitely influenced me and helped me to continue to grow as an educator and as a person. I will forever be grateful and cherish all my years with MPS.
I'm going to read from Paige Klaus. Eastwood Elementary. So many fond memories for me as a teacher at Eastwood. Yearly walking field trips to Hertz Forest and Indian Bathtub. Eastwood on the Hill programs, the close community of students and staff. Thank you, Eastwood, for all the memories. Paige Klaus.
And I'm going to read what Debbie Perkins wrote. I remember my years at Eastwood Elementary with a grateful heart. When we moved here, I was questioning many things, including why Marshall. Then I began teaching at Eastwood, and the answer quickly began to coalesce in my mind. From the welcoming admin teachers and support staff to the students, parents and caregivers, everyone I encountered confirmed that I was right where I was supposed to be. Ideas and resources were shared among colleagues without hesitation. Every single adult in the building worked to make Eastwood a vibrant, welcoming, and safe place for students to learn, starting right where they were. Memories of the students in my classroom frequently bring a smile to my face. Whether working on day-to-day reading and research or presenting our living museum and animal picmations, every learner brought unique insights, and strengths to our classroom community. That may be what I miss the most. Yes, the building was old, but it was also full of character. Character and style, and character in the people that walked through the doors every day to strive for excellence. Janitors, cooks, paras, aides, teachers, admin, students, parents. You are what I will remember about Eastwood Elementary, and I think of you all with a grateful heart. Debbie Perkins.
Thank you, Mrs. Hartley.
I'm back to read from Amy Miles. Eastwood Elementary was my second home for over 28 years. I spent the majority of my teaching career walking the halls of Eastwood Elementary. Despite its age, I came to appreciate the physical building with its woodwork, floor colored with tiles scattered throughout the hallway that would make anyone, child or adult, want to jump from a colored tile to colored tile, cold water in the bathrooms, and the uniqueness of how easy it was to move through the building as it was a big U shape. I enjoyed working with all the staff members at Eastwood. For my very first year, I felt the staff was one big happy family. Everyone got along, working well together, and was very willing to support one another with the sharing of ideas, knowledge, and materials. These feelings never went away as new staff came and worked in the building. To me, everyone and has always been super supportive, and we had each other's back. Teaching at Eastwood has been a wonderful experience. One I would start all over again if I could teach with the same individuals. The Eastwood community has always been friendly, not only to each other, but to the families we serve. Eastwood staff has always been willing to go above and beyond to help their students' families. There has always been a genuine concern and warmth shown to our students. Eastwood School has been a great home away from my home for 28 years. I have many memories of staff that I have worked with and students. I've had the pleasure of teaching. It is very hard for me to say goodbye to this enduring school. Thank you for the memories. That's Amy Miles.
That hopping from the tile to tile is a thing. I'm telling you. Every day you're like, okay, guys, let's not do that again today. All right, I get to read Vicki Shannon. She has 2 slides. She had a lot to say. So who's reading the second part?
I'll read the second one.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so I attended Eastwood from 2nd to 6th grade. I have fond memories of making butter in Mrs. Swinger's 2nd grade classroom and playing the harp and violin duet with Kevin Hartley for PTA in 6th grade. I remember singing the Eastwood song to the tune of Davy Crockett, which you guys all heard, at the school assemblies, and I loved the spelling bees in Mrs. Hayner's 5th grade class and doing the independent math books and SRA. Only a teacher would say that they love doing the independent math books and SRA reading cards in 6th. I had to laugh when I saw that in 6th grade. My sister and I walked to and from school every day. When I began teaching, my first position was teaching kindergarten in Eastwood. It was like coming home. Joe Mitchell was the principal, and he was very supportive of teaching staff, and I thought he did a wonderful job. At the time, our classroom was in the building and then moved to the trailers later. We did not have air conditioning at the time, so the windows were open a lot, which was pretty typical of anywhere, without screens too, she said. I had a terrible coughing fit in the fall. Another teacher thought she had asthma, so then she soon got diagnosed, so I think maybe Eastwood saved her life. There, see, perfect, see, it's unironic. Apparently, she said the railroad track was full of a bunch of ragweed, and she found out she was allergic to ragweed, so. Things you learn.
Thank you, Mrs. Sappington.
To continue, one of my favorite activities was when the Missouri Valley College baseball team would come to my class and we would go outside where the baseball players would pair up with students and read with them. I also loved our annual Eastwood on the Hill night when Mary Marshall would hold a music program out on the hill. Classes would sing their prepared songs and family members would relax on blankets in the grass or chairs at the top of the hill. One year, third grade teacher Debbie Perkins opened the program with a beautiful solo. It was one of the first times of many that the staff found out that she was musically gifted. I was blessed to work with the best principals, paraprofessionals, next-door kindergarten teachers, students, and parents during my time at Eastwood. I was sad when I had to leave Eastwood the year there was no kindergarten there. No longer. That's why I had to transition to Benton. My time at Benton was positive too. It was just a hard change to make. And that is from Vicki Shannon. So many other memories, but I better stop there.
We want to say thank you for all the memories and thoughts that were emailed in. If we have anybody else that would like to add their thoughts, or, just give us some advice or say thank you. We have a Eastwood Farewell Tour bulletin board, and I think, Mrs. Gann, you've worked on bulletin boards for the other buildings that are also moving. So not only Eastwood, but if you have memories from Benton or Northwest, just send them to the principals or secretaries, and I'm sure they would love to post them. Okay. Now I'm going to close with a poem. A creak, a click, the handle turns. The final glance, the moment burns. Foot on threshold, heart takes flight, stepping out into the fading light. The door shuts softly with a sigh, leaving echoes of what used to lie. A world outside, both vast and new, a farewell to the old, a fresh pursuit. Each step a beat, a rhythm set, no looking back, no second guess. The door behind, a closing scene, a chapter ended, a life unseen. The path ahead, a mystery veiled, with every stride, a story hailed. Walking out with purpose clear, the door a marker, the future near. Thank you.
Thank you to Amy and her staff. And congratulations, Ms. Keeker, on being an outstanding owl. Next, we will move on to the superintendent reports. And while Mr. Rinke is getting ready for that, I will go back to Ed Rising. So the members of Ed Rising recently competed in competition in Fulton on Friday, March 7th. Some gave speeches, others used what they learned from administrator, teacher, support staff through presentations. Several wrote children's books, and a few created interactive bulletin boards. Students who placed in the top 10 of their category qualified for the Ed Rising National Competition, which will be in Orlando, Florida, June 25th through 30th, 2025. There were 17 students in Ed Rising that went to compete, and all 17 of those students qualified for the national tournament. So they are going to be fundraising as well. You can reach out to Danielle Callahan or any of the staff probably at the Career Center, which will put you in contact with her. And there is also, they're looking for sponsorships from people in the community and businesses. There are various levels of those, so please reach out if you're willing to help support our students move on to a great experience and their supporting cast. So. And Mr. Rinke, on to you.
All right, thank you. I have to be the one to follow the Eastwood presentation, but it was very good. Thank you for that. You know, there's definitely a lot of memories there, and it is bittersweet. So, moving on. So, tonight I have several things, have several approval items on the agenda. Hope to cover all these, and hopefully all the questions are asked. First one, 2025-26 school year calendar recommendation for approval. Then I have three different things that we've been talking about for about 3 months. We have our food service provider contract approval, our printing services, our technology services provider. And then I will make, I have a recommendation in your board packet for the meal prices for the 25-26 school year. And then quickly we'll go over the capital outlay plan and the technology plan for 2025-26 for the district, which will help us in our budgeting. So let's go ahead and start with the school calendar. So the school calendar this year was a little bit tricky, and I'll explain here going through this. We sent out an initial survey to all our staff asking several questions, had a lot of feedback on that. Of course, there's so many different worlds between the elementary, the high school, the middle school, on kind of what everybody wants, so putting all that together sometimes is really interesting. With some of our feedback we received on student instruction days, we were at 156 days because we felt this year we needed so much professional development. There was so much going on working with Mrs. Jacoby and our instructional coaches, and I think it was beneficial. But we did have a lot of feedback of the student instruction days. A lot of teachers felt that they were falling behind, so we listened to that. The second thing was in 169 days to the calendar is the state has put in some financial incentives, I wouldn't say incentives, financial constraints tied to a 169-day calendar. Last year, I believe that was Senate Bill 727, I think. Don't quote me on that. So we decided as a district to build a calendar at 169 student days. That gets a little bit tricky because as far as legislation, you can't start till after the state fair, and then we have overwhelming feedback that our teachers and staff and really would like to be done before Memorial Day, which I do not disagree with. I think stretching things into Memorial Day so far after testing and everything with students, it gets kind of tough keeping everybody on task. So those were two of the things we really looked at. I went ahead and put a calendar committee together to try to work through some of these things. That was the assistant principals in our district, so we brought those together. I gave them several options, and then we kind of worked through all those. We decided to come up with a couple options that basically was a hybrid between full PD days and half PD days. I know a lot of the half PD days sometimes are hard on parents, and so are some full PD days, but we decided to try to balance that out. We also looked at the senior graduation, which I'll talk about in our survey, and also the final vote between the two calendars. So that was kind of the development going through everything that we did send out two options to our staff. Number one, I wanted to share this survey. The high school had this idea for a while, talked about it the last year or two with us, and they had feedback, and then we ended up sending out a survey for not this year's seniors, but next year's seniors on the graduation date between that Friday night, which would be May 8th, and then on Mother's Day. So they sent out a survey what the parents would prefer. It was pretty balanced. The Friday night graduation did end up winning the vote. So we are going to try that. I think it would be a neat thing to try. So we will schedule graduation on the calendar May 8th, and that will still be outside underneath the lights on the football field, weather permitting. So, and then into our votes. We had about 70%, so we sent out two options from the committee that they did, and then option one, overwhelmingly about 70% of the votes came back. So that will be the one that I am bringing to the board for approval tonight. And both of those options, I believe, were in your packet materials, and then the proposed options. So, does anybody have any questions on that right now? All right.
No, sir.
Moving along, we will move into our food service. Okay, that's one thing. This is one of the ones that we've been talking about for a few months. Our food service provider, currently we are with OPA Foods. We had 4 very competitive bids come back into the Marshall School District, and it was a process, and we finally decided to set up a committee, which was really kind of fun. So this committee consisted of our wellness, some of our wellness committee members of the district, but we also brought in some of our high school and our middle school students to sit on the committee. And I can't remember what day it is, but we set up presentations for all our bidders, so we had 4 presentations that day. I'll tell you what, our kids did amazing. I was so proud of our kids. You know, they came in, they were engaged, they asked questions, they got some good food to eat too, but so they gave great feedback. I was really impressed. So I want to definitely thank our committee going through this process. So looking at our bids, I tried to break it down as simple as I could here, and Mrs. Durham has been awesome through this, helping me put all this together. But with our bids, we are recommending a change with our food service provider to move away from OPA, and I'm going to recommend Southwest Food Service Excellence, SFE, for our next 5-year contract. When we looked at the feedback from the committee and the references from some other districts, and definitely the financials, there was a big financial benefit to make the switch. So we also have, when it comes down to time for the voting, if you do have any questions, Fred Ellis and Ann Wansinger, did I say everything right? They are here tonight from SFE in case you had any questions. So, does anybody have any questions right now on this for me? Perfect. All right, moving on. Printing services bid. We don't have to do this again for 5 years. Everybody know that, all these bids, so I just tell them. Printing service bids. Okay, so this was the process. A lot of thought went into this. And I'll get to a survey here in a second. We are currently with Riccio. We also house a print shop throughout the district. We were looking at, when we went back out for bid, because our current five-year contract was up, and moving into the next five-year contract, we basically had definitely open options, and we didn't know if we were going to continue with the print shop, more copiers, everything else. Since I've been here, I get a lot of feedback from teachers on our printing services. So a lot of feedback, but that's okay. So, looking at different options, what we had actually, I think 6 different options come back. Riccio gave us 2. They did an option with the print shop and without the print shop. We had GFI company, GFI Solutions. They gave us 3, 2 with a print shop and then 1 without. And then Toshiba gave us a bid without the print shop. So comparing apples to apples, this was tough to do. You might look at some of the prices that is very low, but I felt in some of those low prices, because we still want to meet the needs of the district, that they were really too low and we weren't getting the equipment we needed. But I do feel that we can have a to switch our services and switch how we're doing our printing. We can still manage, meet our teachers' needs, meet our staff's needs, and also have a pretty decent savings of money. So and I also sent out for printing services. I did one before, and then I sent this back out because I wanted to know how I can see what our employees are using in the print shop, but I was asked, I don't know if that's this many teachers or this many teachers. So I sent this survey out. We had some individual answers, but basically the survey had 144 responses back. Would you rather have more copy machines, more convenience copiers throughout your building, or would you rather have the print shop? And we actually received that teachers would like about 60% more convenience copiers that are conveniently placed throughout their buildings. So I will be recommending the Toshiba bid for a 5-year contract tonight, and that is a 5-year lease on the machines. We will not be housing a print shop, the production center anymore. So it would be $5,892 basically a month for that lease in copiers. We will be able to increase our copiers throughout all of our buildings. Be a little bit different. We'll still have the software to be able to put everything in, and then we'll probably outsource some of our other things, such as binding and everything, which will still be a benefit. So switching to Toshiba will still meeting our needs. I believe we can save between $70,000 and $80,000 a year. Over the course of the contract, that's about $350,000 to $400,000 over a 5-year contract that I believe the district will save by switching, moving away from the print shop and putting more convenience copiers for our teachers. So, and even with outsourcing that, I believe it's still the most bang for our buck, and it will be a financial benefit to the district as a whole. So when it comes to that time, I will be recommending the Toshiba bid. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right. We also had to go out for our technology service bids. Handles all our computers, our Chromebooks, our internet, everything. We have so much technology in the district that it's crazy, and it takes somebody to take care of it all and run it all. We are currently with Converge Technology Solutions here in Marshall, CTS. That is our current contract. We received 2 contracts back, one again from CTS, Converge Technology Solutions, basically for $11,632 a month plus $1,500 a month backup. This will be for a 5-year contract also. I did ask about that, with a yearly contract, but they have a hard time planning and being able to pass the services along or pass some of those savings along to us doing that yearly. So it is a 3% escalation for 5 years. The other bid we had back was from GFI Digital, which was $51,200 a month, so that was kind of out of the ballpark for us. So I will recommend us staying with CTS when we come to that point. Anybody have any questions on that? All right. Since we're approving food service providers tonight, I thought it would be good to go ahead and recommend our meal pricing for 2025-2026. I am proposing we have no increases for next school year from this year. We leave the student pricing the same. That is one of the benefits of going out and looking at new providers and their pricing, that we will not have to do that for next year. So it will be, with our savings that we're going to do with the new contract, we will not have to raise meal prices for next year. So there is no increase I'm recommending. Any questions on that? All right. Two other things. The 2025-2026 capital outlay plan, started bringing those to the board through our CSIP and putting that together. And this can kind of go with our long-range facility plans. There are a few things outside it, but we try to make them run together and just updating some of our district needs that we really need to do. And we put these together because mainly it helps us budget into next year instead of just, we have a plan. So looking through this, we're looking at right now about $250,000 for next year. This does include the playgrounds that you already approved, I think a couple months ago that we did that. So that's listed in there. This also does, which we are still working on the complete pricing, but the additional parking at the high school, I think we talked about that about 4 months ago. So that's involved in there. We also are proposing in this plan, I'm not going to go through all these, but the two big things, we would like to replace the tile floor in the old section of Spainhauer this summer, and that would, to match the new section and make that building start to run together, update that. And then also a tile project at the Saline County Career Center. If you've been in the Career Center, the tiles are getting in pretty rough shape and popping off. So those tiles will have to be abated, so we would abate those hallways and then come in with our crew and then be able to lay a new tile floor is the plan this summer. So those are some of the highlights, the big things that we'd like to do in the capital outlay project for this summer.
David, how many stalls did you get for the high school in the final? Are you still counting them?
Harry, I don't know. I haven't counted them all
We were
yet.
still counting them. Last time we talked, we were still counting them.
Yeah, I will let you know.
No, it's no big deal. Huh?
Mr. Rinke, you said we lay floor and tiles. Are you saying that's going to be an in-house project?
I believe, yes, our maintenance department, I talked to Chris, I believe that we can handle that project.
Good.
So I think they can do it. We started laying beaker flooring, so I think we can do the tile now. Okay, technology outlay plan. Does anybody else have any questions on that? Sorry, the capital plan? Okay. Technology outlay plan. This is really small, and I apologize. You do have this in your board packets. So this is very similar to last year. Again, this aligns with our CSIP. Our plan outlays about $750,000, which is basically what the district has been spending. I just got everything put together and was able to outline all the numbers that we're doing. So this includes the big things is still continuing the Chromebook rotation that we talked about last year and approving. This will include, we usually try to do a student lab. We'll do a lab at the high school this year, update those desktops for the students. And then in the rotation for teachers' devices, we will go this summer at the intermediate school in Spainhauer. So we will update all those into new teacher devices. This also contains our E-rate contribution. We bought several servers this year through E-rate, or going to buy into next year. And then I also included all of our internet and all of our software and our firewalls and all those software costs that It adds up, but it is, if we're gonna have all the technology, it is a necessity for the district, so. So that will be our technology outlay plan for approval. All right, so just for your information on these bids with the different food service, printing, our technology, whatever else I have in here. If you approve those tonight, I will go back and I will work with those vendors to set the contracts, and then I'll bring back the contracts next month. That will be in your consent agenda for approval. So, that is all I have. Anybody have anything else?
That's all.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rinky. Next, we'll hear from Superintendent Mr. Pettit.
I always feel that I need to explain, I don't like to not stand up, that they can't hear me at home and you can't hear me at the end of the table on that microphone. It doesn't work for me. So we're going to jump into some things, but before I do, a couple of things that are not on my agenda this evening, and my agenda is very short, I promise. I thought Mr. Ranke had more than enough to cover for his workload and our presentation tonight, so I really tried to keep it brief. And I'm thankful to him, first of all, for all the work he put into all of that. He's done a fantastic job, very detail-oriented, and it took a lot for him to put all this together and bring it to you. And I've appreciated his help with all of it. He's done fantastic. I want to also, I'll start with an odd question, but Mr. Lenz, did you golf by chance today? How many holes?
16.
So I want to take a quick recognition of Mr. Jack Lenz. He has a 90th birthday coming, and if anyone thinks that he isn't spry, he golfs almost every single day, and I've golfed with him once, and he's a lot better than me. And he's a lot better than other people that are a lot better than me, so, because that may not be saying a lot. But he has a 90th birthday party celebration at his church, Covenant Presbyterian, on Yerby Street. It's 2 to 4 p.m., and that is Saturday, March 15th. And his birthday's on Sunday, so happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Jack. And thank you, Mona, for putting together those for everybody to share and put it all over Facebook and make it a big party for him. So happy birthday. I want to brag on our elementary schools. Here a while back, I was at a Rotary luncheon, and we had a presentation from Meals on Wheels here in Marshall. And for those who don't know, because I didn't, we have Meals on Wheel and we have the food pantry. They're separate entities with separate funding. And they had a pretty great need, and I was speaking to one of our elementary principals and said, I wish there was some way we could do something. We ask our teachers to support in some ways around Christmas and let them wear pants. I wonder if our kiddos could help. And all of the elementary teachers came together, and I believe it was a pajama party was the bribe, wasn't it? So they were change wars for pajama parties. And I don't have the exact count because I didn't count the third envelope that came over, but I think it's around $1,200 to $1,300 that those kiddos brought with pennies. And I don't know, all of the parents might not be as thankful. I know that my wallet was rated, my car was rated, everything, but, and we have some pajama parties. So next year I told them if they want to do that again, I'll buy pizza for the winning classrooms and come see them. So nobody knows who I am now that my wife's out of the classroom. I'm not Mrs. Pettit's husband. I'm starting to become Bellamy's dad and Henry's dad. That's my new identification. So, so I say those things in celebrations before I get started with our business today, which I promise will be quick. I don't always keep my word, but today it will be. And I'm going to get right into the meat and potatoes, as Grandma called it, of what it is going on with salaries and how it all plays out. And I want to explain, too, with Mr. Ranke's annual presentation of our capital outlay and our IT outlay, as well as summer projects. When you all approve that, that is a part of our current comprehensive school improvement plan. Sometimes I just want to make sure and draw attention to the things we're doing is for a reason, and it's that district plan. So now with those approved, it's time for me to start working on presenting to you and our staff, our certified staff, what it is we're going to do with salary packages next year. So, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize that would cut off. That's my fault. I apologize for that. But here is what is proposed, and we have done staff surveys to get input. And after we did staff surveys, I've met with teacher representative groups this week to discuss the survey data. We also had a board work session where we discussed some of the goals that we had as a Board of Education and what we would hope to accomplish. So this is an outlay of all of that. And Harry, some of this may be the first time you've heard it, unless you read really deep into this month's big packet we gave you. But salary percentage on the base, our proposal on the base is 2% plus steps, which is an average of 2%. With benefits, that 2% will go into life insurance, retirement, Medicare, and Social Security. And we also have a goal of covering whatever health insurance increase we have. We'll hopefully know what that is in one more month, but it's capped at 5%. And then there's some other things. This gym membership I'm going to ask for approval of tonight, which is a recruitment and retention idea, the all-day preschool that we've added, and tuition reimbursement, which we will be working to fund again next year at $45,000 a year for our teachers. All told, and that won't math because I'm being very conservative, but all told, I'm comfortable in saying that we are proposing that we want to provide for our staff a 6% package of benefits this year, 4% in salary and the rest in these other items I'm mentioning. And we do have the benefit of our survey data, and I've shared that in months prior to get staff feedback that those gym membership and all-day preschool things and the reimbursement, that matters to our staff, and it helps recruit, I can say from a recent job fair. So that's what our plan is, that's what we're proposing, and we intend to do it if the state funding is there. And there's an awfully lot being discussed there. So for now, certified staff will be getting a contract this week. That's part of our statutory requirements and our board policy, that they get that by the 15th of March, same day as Jack's birthday party. They have to have that contract. We're going to give them a contract that says what their salary is this year. We're going to be very, very open about what our intentions are. It's truly in the hands of our legislature, who are having a very good run at attacking our funding, I might add. So jumping on into these gym memberships, and I'm excited to share this with our staff tomorrow. We have 2 gyms I'll tell you about. One is the YMCA, which is offering a partnership with the school district, and the other is UVU. I didn't know that for like a week, and I was running around calling it UVU. That's not correct. It's you versus you, I've learned. Both of them are proposing opportunities for our staff to come be a part of their gym, and we're doing this on a trial basis. It's my proposal tonight that we invest $15,000 this year, which our insurance company will partner with us to accomplish. We'll do this for the rest of March, April, and May, possibly June. But I'm promising to the staff we'll do 3 months, and at the end of those 3 months, we're going to see how many participated. According to our survey, it'll be over 100, and I hope it'll increase, and then we will incentivize and reimburse them for their costs if they've been active in that gym membership, so that our insurance will help us to continue to hopefully invest in that and promote our staff's health and well-being. This opportunity will include their spouses and their children. They need to use the gym 10 times, and I think if they bring everybody with them, it'll actually make a difference and make them healthy. Any questions about all of that so far? I only have 1 or 2 left.
That's good.
Big thing to keep in mind, and I have not gotten into the weeds on legislation. It'll be my turn to stand at the podium for a long time next month, because it's going to be time to start really looking at what's going on in Jefferson City. House Bill 711, however, is acting quickly. We know from the governor's state of the state that it was going to be a priority of his administration, and it was possibly going to be called to the floor for debate yesterday. Sounds like that got delayed. I've reached out to our district leadership and teacher representation, and I'm asking them and the board as well to make contact on that. We have a new state representative in this area. I think he has really good intentions with education. We just need to forge that strong relationship, because not only will that impact our financing, so will the senior tax credit, and there's multiple other tax cutting bills. That changes so much. I'm waiting until April to start getting into mini legislative sessions with you, but I am concerned, at a minimum, I'm concerned about things like our student adequacy target. That was increased in last year's state budget to $6760. We have not hit that. We're falling short in our collections, and they keep talking about more tax cuts. I love tax cuts as a taxpayer, but that's what this public school system operates on. So these things, on top of the discussion about the entire education formula being rewritten in Jefferson City, there's just frankly too much that we don't know. But if we were left to be with our funding and our long plans that we've started down the road of here in Marshall, everything about this salary package would be, for sure, be easy, and it would be the best salary package since I've been here. But I share this with you all in the public tonight because in the past I've asked for calls to Jefferson City, and I cannot stress enough how critically important that is, because it literally is going to impact what we can and can't do, and we've got the best plans, but we need the funding. I believe this is my closing remark. Real estate, we're going to have motions on real estate this month and next month at least, and there's some opportunities further into the future. And so just a quick recap of some policy there, and as a board, I know we know it, sharing with the public, we, particularly with the property next door to Butterfield, that's up first, that's up this month on our agenda, and there was a first right of refusal, so just a quick history review for the public is that first right of refusal meant the school didn't own it, but we had a first right to buy it if somebody else wanted to, and we exercised that. We've utilized it for building traits, coursework and learning, and you might have noticed the fence going up over there today. They did a lot of things inside as well. That's been good. I've appreciated their work. And then we are exercising in our policy how to sell it. And there's always two options to do that: a sealed bid where you have no choice but go with the highest, and obtaining a realtor. And Michelle Pointer's with us here tonight, who's been representing the district. However that sells, we're intending to include that right of first refusal again. And there's been some protections put in there about Section 8 and subsidized housing based on that community input that we've got with our other schools. So that is all I'm going to say tonight. If you have no questions for me, I'll rest. Okay.
Before I ask you to rest completely, I'm just going to ask you to overview the writing project that is down for old business. I know that's a cooperative project, but I'll let you explain the details of that, please.
We have one of our high school educators that does a very nice job for us. He's been given an opportunity to work with Mizzou and this writing project. It was something I did when I was in the classroom a while ago, and it was it had a great impact on the way that you teach. It was effective in social studies classrooms, English, etc. And the offer on the table for him is that he works part-time for the school district and part-time for the University of Mizzou. And basically what I hope to be bringing to you next month is that you approve a mutual agreement between us and Mizzou where we will pay a full salary, they will reimburse us for 50%, and that includes benefits, so it doesn't impact their employees' retirement. And then we have a representative of Marshall Public Schools that will go out and they will teach this at other schools. It becomes a professional development thing that goes on. So it will represent us around the state. There's no financial loss. And I think we have a good person up for it. Long and the short is, with all the political stuff going on the federal level, the funding got shaky. I expected to be approving it this month, so it's there for a placeholder. And I think that funding is clearing up now that it will be sustained, and that'll be an approval next month.
I participated in that program when I was teaching. It's an excellent program.
It is.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to an alphabet of new business that we have. So the first thing, letter
almost the whole thing.
A, real estate contract for 1304 County Road WW. That was in your packet, and there's been some other discussions. I am seeking for conversation or a motion at this point.
I move we table till closed.
I second that.
It's been requested to table the real estate contract for 1304 to closed. We will discuss particulars in closed at that point in time, but we will return to open session to complete a bid after that time for the board to ask any other questions of contracts and developments that may have happened very recently. So,
Harry Carroll seconded that, right?
yes, so that also takes a vote. All those in favor of tabling to closed and returning to open session after close this evening, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or recusing? So that would be 6-0 with one recusing. Ms. Daly-Pierce. Next, tuition policy setting for tuition rate increases 2025-2026. This is for the all-day pre-K program. This will be $30 for staff weekly, $60 for non-staff as their availability within that, and then a $30 a day PD day where we would staff to take care of district children or children of educators within the district to allow them to attend PD and not have to seek other outside babysitting commitments.
And we will start that child care as a pre-K endeavor and see how it goes. We hope to expand.
Okay.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any questions or discussion?
Call a question?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain or recusing? Next is the coach and stipend pay increases in conjunction with the base. This is something that we've talked about as well before, and kind of restructuring how we're looking at our coaches, the amount of kids they have, the time commitments it takes for some of those programs that they work with in the evenings or year-round for some of those. So,
In practice, with regard to that, in practice, Marshall Public Schools has always had the base salary for certified teachers be the indicator of what our coaching salary was. It just is not and has not been tied to policy. So separately, we really should make this vote each year. It's not changing anything. They would appreciate it. But if we give the base, it'll give them a raise too.
I move to accept the stipend pay increases with conjunction with the base.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. I'll recognize Mr. Lenz, who got there a little bit faster in his 89th year.
Call question.
I'll do better.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining or recusing? Next, item D is the adult ed tuition. That right now is $17,239, and it'll be a slight increase to $17,489. That's an increase of $150, if I did my quick math correctly.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
Call question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstaining? If anyone thinks we're running through these things pretty quickly, we also had about a 3.5-hour board work session last week where we discussed a lot of these items already before. So we're all pretty well versed on these topics. So next, print service provider is a 5-year contract. Mr. Rinke outlined those for us, also with the input of our teachers and staff, of course, to see what they thought they would best be suited for. It sounds like they overwhelmingly wanted some more copiers within buildings, allowed them to do some more on-demand printing. And he recommended Toshiba at $5,290 monthly on a 5-year lease with new machines and additional machines per district building.
So moved.
Second. Nope. You can have it each. Call the question then.
It's been moved and seconded. I will let the secretary choose.
May I make a comment, Brian?
Yeah, of course you can, sir.
I would like to personally thank David. I know how much work he goes through to do all of that, and he presented it in such a form that I could understand, and that means it's pretty darn good. So David, I say thank you.
I agree with that. It makes it so much easier for us to know what we're talking about, David, and we've mentioned that before, so.
You're welcome.
Call the question
It's been
again.
moved and seconded to accept the Toshiba bid. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Next, moving down to food service provider. The recommendation was for Southwest Food Services, which was from our committee as well as our students. We met last week as a board and talked about this, and we thought it was really neat that our students got to come in and meet. And actually, because all of us can sit around and vote and weigh the dollars and the cents out, they're the ones that are going to end up eating lunch every day. So.
How'd that come about, David? I'm just thrilled to no end that we had students involved in that thing.
I mean, they eat lunch every day. That's who we should be asking.
Yeah.
I don't know, when, I've done it before with some food service committees, and I thought it was neat when I've done it before.
Well, let
so-
me congratulate you on another great decision.
Well, thanks, Harry.
It's you.
Also to let you know on
Must
that.
be going to something, have an executive session with you when we get there.
Also to let you know, there are more students on that committee as versus adults, and everybody's vote was just one. And so the students are driving this, so look at your peers if you're not happy with your food. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you know, in an effort to always, you know, let our students take the lead in things, I do appreciate that as well, Mr. Rinke. So the contract was for Southwest Food Services for 5 years, and that is at a rate that increases through the year, so I'll just stop there as far as that would be the provider.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Call a question.
All those in favor of our new Southwest Food Services as the food service provider, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Recusing? Next, going down, we have breakfast lunch pricing for the 2025-2026 school year. That is currently $2.45 at the high school, $2.40 at the middle school, and $2.30 at the elementaries, and $1.15 for breakfast. That will stay the same going into next year for our students and families.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Question?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The next item.
Do we have to? Never mind.
So the next item on the agenda is to reinstall myself as our area representative for MSBA. So we are in Region 5. That encompasses Lexington, Higginsville, down to Warrensburg, Sedalia, back to this area. I was asked to join that team to fill a vacancy last year as a representative of the State Board of Directors, which I've been serving on for the last 8 months.
You don't have to make a speech, I'm going to nominate you.
I'm done right after that, so just giving the preference. So I just need my board to support me in that endeavor as I send the paperwork back to
Mr.
MSBA.
President, it would be my honor to nominate you for that.
And I'd be very happy to second.
There we go.
Well, thank you very much. Both you gentlemen, that was the best motion we've had of the night. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Any opposed to that? Just wanted to make sure nobody was going to vote at the end. So. The next thing that we have is to look at our technology managed service provider contract. That is, again, looking at CTS, who was our best bidder for the district at that point, and for a 5-year contract, annually starting out at $157,000, $588 and 56 cents, with a 3% raise per year.
Is that locked in, that 3% per year?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ouch. Over 5 years?
It's still a whole lot cheaper than the other one, Harry.
Huh?
It's still a whole lot cheaper than the other one.
Yeah, I agree.
And on a cost of living increase, 3% is probably about what you're going to end up with annually anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty standard rate as far as, I guess, inflationary markets go or cost of living. So
I move we accept the bid from
Second.
CTS.
it's been moved and seconded to the right.
We're stuck with
All those in, is there any other discussion or questions?
No,
You're ready.
we're just grousing about spending money, so, aye.
All right, well, let me get through it while we're still in the given mood. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Next, we're moving down to our capital outlay projects, as Mr. Rinky outlined to us, roughly at about $250,000, $250,534.25. Probably some growing numbers a little bit will come in there as well as we finish bidding out projects. But there's a lot of projects we're doing in-house and some projects that we're also going to complete with building trades. I think it's phenomenal that we're giving students real-life applications to be able to do things within the district and projects that they can be proud of and see as they pass around. So, seeking a motion here.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I'd like to comment too. I really like the way you break this down for us, David. I can sit down here and tell exactly what's going to be happening with the high school, the middle school, the other schools. And I look quickly, we're going to have an outside vendor. And of course, I'm really thrilled that our own guys are doing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Anyone that was opposed to that? No, or abstaining? Thank you. And I appreciate the comment as well. So it is very easy to understand where we're going, so. And as we reduce buildings, we have a lot less places to put check marks on, so. And newer construction, so thank you all for helping us maintain these buildings as well. CSIP goal number 4, our technology plan. That was, as he outlined, for replacing devices at various schools and other parts, servers and such, for right about $734,000, $780.63, which also includes our E-rate, where we're able to purchase some things at 90% or 80% reduction as well on some of our larger pieces of equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the technology plan, please say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstaining? The next thing is a surplus of furniture at Eastwood, Benton, and Northwest, scrapping rights at Eastwood, the trailer at Eastwood, and district vehicles. This is not an exact set surplus list yet because it is ever growing and changing, and probably as Amy and her staff are going through the building, putting Post-it notes on what they want or what they don't want through the building over the next few months. So this is just to look towards a surplus auction for us and being able to list those, which I believe we're planning on listing online as well.
Yeah, the only thing that will not be sold on Gov Deals is going to be, just for the public's knowledge, it'll be the scrapping rights as well as the trailer. We will do those as sealed bids where you must accept the highest, and I think that's going to be the best way to move them. I don't think those will move on Gov Deals. Everything else will be Gov Deals this time.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstaining? Recusing? Thank you. The next thing up is trial gym membership with UVU and as well as YMCA. I know that the staff are kind of asked about this, and staff said, I go to this gym, I prefer here or there. So thank you all for communicating with both gyms and getting us a trial membership to see how this is going to look for staff going forward, and as an added benefit that we can offer our staff as a fringe going forward, so.
So moved.
Second.
I have a comment. Have we decided yet how many times they have to use it?
It was 10, I believe,
Yeah,
in
we
his
did that
presentation.
10 a month.
10 a month, okay, thank you.
And due to these being family plans, that would be 10 uses a month, which, depending on how big your family is, you might only have to get in there twice.
Yeah, they'll have a perk if they're a family.
Call question?
All those in favor of the trial gym memberships, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Recusing? Thank you. And the final item, item number N, fiscal year calendar 2025, 2026, that has 169 days on it, which is compliant with some state regulations and changes, which they've made with some funding ideas that go along with things, and a Friday night graduation, which is the first that we've had on a different day in quite a number of years. So any of you mothers that have children graduating next year, you're going to get to have Mother's Day all to yourself again. And so we will try that and see how it works out for us on Friday night. So,
So moved. Are you asking, you're asking for?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yep. Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Question?
All those in favor of the school calendar as outlined, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Recusing? Next, we're going to motion to adjourn to closed session. We are going to talk about lease purchasing of real estate and identifiable personnel records, performance ratings, or records pertaining to employees or applicants for employment at that time.
So move.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. We will start with a roll call vote on this end.
Aye.
And Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Thank you all. We will move to closed session. Thank you.